Rope Drop Radio is proudly brought to you by Touring and Cruises Travel Agency. Planning your next magical Disney adventure or an exciting trip around the world? Their expert team is ready to help you every step of the way at no additional cost. They'll even monitor for discounts after you book and apply any you qualify for automatically. Just mention Rope Drop Radio when booking. Now, let's rope drop.
Helping you navigate the Disney parks.
With the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world.
You're listening to Rope Drop Radio.
Welcome to another Rope Drop Radio. I am Doug McKnight here with Lauren Shields. And Lauren, we have an exciting show today because we're breaking down something super duper simple, right? It's easy.
Kind of. Maybe.
Kind of. Maybe?
Not really.
Is it? Not at all. No.
Nope.
And Disney has given us a gift, the gift of complexivity on vacation. And today we're going to do our best to unmuddle the mess that is the Multipass, right?
Yeah, it's very complex.
It is. And it kind of makes me think of how complex the Marvel multiverse is. This is the Multipass. Equally weird and confusing timelines.
Yeah, especially the last few years.
Yes. So we shall explain in all the glorious details. But before we do that, we want to invite you to join us for the Springtime Surprise, April 3rd through the 6th. I will be running the 10-miler. Lauren, what will you be running?
I'll be running the 10-miler also.
Yes, probably ahead of me. So, that's going to happen. Hey,
have you been running this week?
It's -4 degrees out right now. So, no. And our treadmill broke. So that's awesome timing.
That is terrible.
So I rode the Peloton. So
something. We'll take it.
Yeah. I rode the Peloton. Probably going to do it again tomorrow because it's cold out.
Are you training for your blue milk?
If someone buys one for me
I would like
as
to
I run
see
past,
this.
I will drink it. There's no way.
I would really like to see that.
You cannot train for a blue milk ever unless your name is Wes, the DCL dude. And he would double fist that stuff. I've seen it in person. Oh. All right.
Wow.
Let's move on from that.
Okay, we should. Oh, yes.
Yes. Let's move on from that.
Yes. So I wanted to thank our Patreon this week. We don't, unfortunately, have no new Patreons, so Doug will cry.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have someone who upgraded to the Ohana bread pudding, and very exciting. That is Mark Vixenich. I will tell you, I am not good with pronouncing names, so I will follow in Doug's lead on that.
Yeah.
But thank you, Mark.
Yeah, that is awesome. Mark's super awesome guy. I had the chance to meet him in Animal Kingdom on our last rope drop trip. So cool dude. Thanks for upgrading all the fun things that happen over on Patreon. And Lauren's been posting some pictures on Patreon, haven't you?
I have some behind the scenes and some running ones, and I think that's about it. But we do have some fun bonus episodes. Last week was about rope drop fails. So please come join us there and you get some bonus content and episodes. It's super fun.
Yeah. All right. Another great way to support the show is leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. This week, we are going to be reading a new one titled Awesome Show, 5 stars by C. Walsh Travel Mom. This podcast has so much helpful information and is full of fun facts. Love that Lauren has joined the show. I will definitely be sharing this with other Disney fans.
Oh, very nice. And what a nice review after newly joining the show. So thank you, Travel Mom.
There you go. And I must say, I don't think I emphasized it enough, but love was in all capitals. So they shouted that out at us. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So she can have, the extra icing on her guest on cinnamon roll, courtesy of Rope Drop Radio.
Yep. Every time we'll provide. All right, guys. It is time to venture into the Multipass. Yeah, it's a thing. We got Multipass Lightning Lanes, individual Lightning Lanes, virtual queues, premier passes, and some sort of remnants of what was the genie. So today we'll break it all down. And we're going to dive right in. And we're going to dive in by me just simply asking Lauren to define all of this nonsense. Lauren, are you ready?
For some of it's obsolete, but I'll
No,
try.
none of it's obsolete. It's all super important. And I will do my best to get through the show without saying fast pass again.
Starting now.
Now, yes, the clock has
Got
started.
it.
All right. First up, Genie. What on earth is Genie, and is it still there?
I don't use Genie, so I don't think is it
Oh,
still there? You
it's
just
still
went.
there. It is still
Oh,
there.
no. Okay, so I do know what it is.
And what is it?
Genie is part of the My Disney Experience app where you are
Mhm.
supposed to say what you're interested in or stuff like that at each park, and it's supposed to kinda come up with a plan of what you should
Mhm.
do.
Or
And
you
should
could just listen to last week's episode and we have a plan for you.
one that probably would be of better use to you
Yes,
because the
better.
regular Genie, not Genie Plus, is not very helpful. It will give you some bad advice.
Yes, and that's where you find the tip board, which shows wait times and lightning lane availability, I believe. So that's
Yes.
it. That's all that's left. You still have the weird photo filters, which are super important.
Did you get the
Um,
nice New Year's ones?
I didn't bother to use
Oh,
them. I was
the
lazy. I don't.
my girls like to play with those.
Yeah, the filters. So if you get multipass, you get the Genie filters because Genie Plus is no longer a thing, which takes us to the next thing to define that actually matters. Genie doesn't really matter. All right.
No.
Multipass, Lauren. What is
Multipass
multipass?
used to be known as Genie Plus, basically. It's like Genie Plus and Fast Pass. I know we're not supposed to say that.
Well, that's one less point for you, Lauren.
Had a baby and they named it Lightning Lane Multipass. This is a pass that you purchase that kind of allows you to skip the regular standby line and go to a shorter line and get onto attractions faster.
All right. And we'll give all the details of these things later on in the show. And if we fail to, just message Lauren.
Doug.
Not me. But all right. So multipass, a thing you buy that gives you access to lightning lanes. But Lauren, what is a lightning lane?
So a lightning lane, think of it kind of as the physical line you're going to go to get onto the ride. That's the shorter line.
Did they name it this because it's shockingly fast?
I have no idea where they came up with this lingo. But I would like to sit in on that room.
Wouldn't you like? I want to know what the other suggested names were because it seems like Fast Pass was just there, just like,
Right.
hey, just let people pay for me, and they're like, no, we can't have something that was free become something we pay for.
Right.
So that had to be why they changed the name, right? It's the only
I
reason.
have no idea. They just made it overly complicated. And it stinks because people who went like 2 years ago are now having to kind of almost start all over again and figuring this out.
Correct. That's why our show is so important. All
Mhm.
right. It's public service all around here. All right. So lightning lane's the actual lane that you walk through. All right.
Yes.
And it's what your multipass can make. Okay. This one gets weirder. Individual lightning lanes.
Well, it's called Lightning Lane Single Pass.
What? They changed the name again?
They did because they needed to. I don't know why.
I don't know either.
Yes. So everything is now Lightning Lane Multipass or Lightning Lane Single Pass. Single Pass is basically they took out the best attraction or two in each park, and that is a separate purchase from the Multipass. You can use it with or without the Multipass.
Okay. So I'm buying a single attraction lightning lane there, not a
Yes,
group of attractions like with the multipass.
correct.
Okay. And they couldn't have come up with a name that wasn't the same. That's really what we're getting here.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. All right. As long as we're all on the same page. Now,
Yeah.
they went and threw another wrinkle in, and there's another name that sounds a lot like the other names, and it's Premier Pass. What is a Premier Pass?
So this is the fanciest one. This gets you access to anything with a lightning lane that's either part of the multi-pass or the single pass. So everything with a lightning lane in one park, you get to use it that day. You can go anytime you want. You don't have to pre-book it. It's very expensive, but it works really well.
Okay. So that's the everything
You get
to
everything
boodle.
for one park, not multiple parks.
Okay, so no park hopping.
No park hopping.
Stay put. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I think we got it defined. We got Genie, which is who cares? But there's the tip board, and then we got the multi-pass, the lightning lanes, individual lightning lanes, which is now the lightning lane single pass, the premier pass. Okay, so we got our terminology down. Now it's time to find out the most painful part of all of this is how do I purchase a multi-pass? Like, what do I need to do to even be
Yes.
eligible and that sort of stuff?
All right. So before you do anything, you need to
Mm.
have, if you're staying on site, you need your hotel reservation linked to your My Disney Experience account. If you
It's
are,
I
what's
just
that?
little PSA. If you have booked your room, link your package, people. Don't wait
Yes. Yes.
because yeah, just get
This
it done.
is it's when you go to purchase a lightning lane, it's really looking to see what ticket type you have. So if you bought a package, which is the hotel and tickets together, and you don't have your hotel on there, your tickets are not going to be linked on there. So just link your hotel. If you bought tickets separately, make sure those are linked as well. And then the next key point is make sure that you have everyone in your group linked together on your friends and family list.
Yes, that's important. That is very important. All right, so got to have everything linked, got to have tickets. And so you said something about if I'm staying on property, when can I actually start to use multipass or book attractions?
So you can book them 7 days before the first day you arrive, so 7 days before arrival day at 7 AM Eastern Time. If you're staying off-site, then or if you're an annual pass holder not staying on property, it is 3 days before you're going to go to the parks, also at 7 AM. One other thing to add is if you have a non-date-based ticket, you need to have a park reservation at that park that you're trying to make the lightning lanes for.
Okay, so what on earth is a non-date based ticket?
This is not gonna apply to many people.
Mhm.
Most of the time, if you're buying a package, it's date-based. So, basically, this is for people who have an annual pass, you need to be making your park reservation, or if you have something like military tickets, those
Mhm.
are not date-based. They don't have they're not linked to a specific date is what that means. So, you would need to make a park reservation.
Excellent, excellent. I just find it flabbergasting that park reservations are still a thing for annual pass holders. It blows my
Yes.
mind.
Well, there's a bunch of rules
Just
with that for a different episode.
oh my goodness
Yeah.
gracious, there are. So 7 a.m. Eastern or 6 a.m. Central, where us cool kids hang out. 5 a.m. Mountain, 4 a.m. Pacific. Get the coffee brewing out there on the West Coast, right?
Yes, and if you are staying on site, this is check-in day. This is not your first day of the parks because a lot of people do not go to their first day of the parks on the day they're checking in. It's the day you are checking in, you are good to go 7 days before then, and you
And
can do it for the length of your stay.
that's an important thing. So some of the really hard things to get, you might be able to get those towards the end of your trip easier than the beginning of your trip because they're less picked over, right?
Right.
All
Right, and
right.
that's only for on-site guests. If you're off-site, it's you're waking up every day to do it.
Each day,
Yeah.
3 days in advance. So if you have like a 7 day trip, 3 days in advance is while you're on your trip. Blech.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
not
that's
fun.
one advantage, huge advantage of staying on site right now. Like
Yes.
that's pretty solid. All right. Now for the part nobody likes. I mean, waking up at 7 a.m. or 5 a.m., whatever time zone you're in, is not what people like either. But how much is this gonna cost me?
Great question. So per person, we'll start with the lowest just to make ourselves feel good.
Thank you. Ease it in. Ease it in, Lauren. Yeah.
Warm you up. So Animal Kingdom, you're talking about $18 to $20 per person per day. Hollywood Studios, you're talking about $26 to $28 per person per day. Epcot's around 21 to 26. Magic Kingdom usually is 30 to 35. There is no hard limit, so they can go as high as they want.
Right. Just for the record, we record this on January 20th, 2025. So when you're listening in the future, first of all, I hope the future is super awesome wherever you're at and enjoying the future. Only up from here, right? But don't quote these prices back to us like, you said it was only going to max out at 35. If it now costs $75 in October, I don't know what to tell you. Sorry.
Yes, and if you're going like a busy time, like spring break, Christmas, New Year's, it's going to be on the high end. The highest you've seen it is what it will be at least.
And I would expect this spring break, we will see a new quote unquote record price. I guarantee it. It'll be the new record.
Because I'm going to be there for spring break.
It's because you're going to be there, Lauren. Yep. They're going to get you. They're going to get you.
Thanks for setting me up for that.
Oh, yeah. Also, on that Premier Pass, they do sell out of those. They limit how many they sell. And they sold out of them during Christmas break. Wow,
they did. Like at all the parks. It was like crazy.
$400 a pop a person at the Magic Kingdom sold out. So that price next Christmas break. They don't even know what they can charge. And they're giggling the whole time they're doing it. Okay, so we know how much it is. It's different from park to park. And like the Magic Kingdom price, basically, if you want a park hop, you pay the Magic Kingdom price, right?
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, if you're park hopping, you're good. That is a change from Genie Plus. You used to have to pay extra for that, but you don't have to anymore. So there's one good thing.
Yeah, you just pay the top price basically, and you're on your way. Okay. So because I bought Multipass, does that mean I can go book every ride I want to right away? All the best ones?
No, there are tiers. Tiers for tiers.
There's like complexity on complexity, Lauren. Please explain.
I know. They like to make things overly complicated. All right. So each park has, no, I take that back. Animal Kingdom, hooray, does not have any tiers.
That's because there's not enough attractions to tier right now.
This is true.
Literally, they just closed the best ride in the park. So,
are we talking about the spinner ride?
I mean, it's Triceratops spin. It's RIP. I'm gonna miss it forever.
I mean, I won't say anything about that. It was needed at that park. I'll give you that.
It is. It's needed, but it's not the best ride ever. But it is the best ride ever. Okay, carry on.
All right, carry on. So, there is a few rides that you pick this is also something that drives me crazy. Is they don't actually have names for each tier. It's just this tier or that tier.
Right.
Like at Fast Pass, it was like tier 1, right? Or tier A. I forget what it was.
I don't know. It was A or B, C or D. I don't know. It's complicated for no reason, but
I call it the higher tier. So Magic Kingdom. The better rides, yeah.
The rides you want to go on, you can only pick one. The rides you don't want to go on, you can pick 2. Is that what it should be called?
You could. And if you don't like any of the really good rides, you can actually pick all 3 of the lower tier if you wanted to. But I don't know why you would.
Don't do that. Okay. Tier. What is tier? We'll call it alpha. No?
Alpha. I just call it higher and lower.
Okay.
We'll come up with
We need to come up with a Disney name for that. That's good here. You carry on. I'll brainstorm. Okay.
Okay. So Magic Kingdom, we have Jungle Cruise, Peter Pan, Space Mountain, and Tiana's. Epcot, it's Remy's, Frozen, or Soarin'. Hollywood Studios, you have Mickey and Minnie's, Millennium Falcon, Rock and Roller Coaster, or Slinky Dog.
Okay.
And then basically anything else is in the lower tier.
Right, except Tron. You didn't mention Tron and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. What tier are they in?
They're not part of the Multipass. So those are your individual, they used to be called individual Lightning Lanes, now called single pass. I can't keep it up, and I have pages of notes here. But yes, single pass.
The single pass. So so Magic Kingdom, Tron, and Mine Train, and then Epcot is Guardians.
Yep.
And then Hollywood Studios is Rise. Okay. And then Animal Kingdom is Flight of Passage.
Yes.
Okay. So there's the tiers. So I only get to pick one out of those when I'm at that park. So so like at the Magic Kingdom, which one do you guys pick? What do you like out of that group of 4?
Well, at this point, it's for us, Tiana's. Because I don't like playing the virtual queue game, which is something we haven't even touched yet. But just because it's new, it's like the new one.
I kind of left the virtual queue out of the definitions, didn't I? Should we just do that now?
Sure.
Yeah, what is a virtual queue, Lauren?
So
Other
that
other than evil.
that is basically a ride that they decided there's not gonna be any standby line for. So the virtual queue, you have to get in the app at 7 AM or 1 PM and try to get in a virtual line and get on the ride that way. And
Yeah.
Tiana's is one of those. So you cannot just go get in line. You either need to book it with your multi-pass or you need to get in the virtual queue.
And the only other virtual queue is Guardians, right?
Guardians.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that one you can't get with multi-pass, so it's either single pass or virtual queue. And
Yes.
don't think the virtual queue is going to be a fast, quick line either. It's a line.
Yes, like,
Yeah.
so I don't that's also why I don't like the virtual queue. It's a long line. It feels kinda like you're in a standby line even though you're not. So if you
Because you
have
are.
right, if you have the lightning lane for it, it's gonna save you a lot of time on both those rides.
Yes, yes, it is. All right. So there you go. Virtual queue. It doesn't fit anywhere with I think we had it lower on the outline, but it just seemed like a good time.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, yeah, it fit. So all right. So yeah, Tiana's or Space Mountain is a solid multi-pass. Uh Jungle Cruise or Peter Pan if you have smaller
Yeah.
ones with you. And we kind of talked about this a little bit last week with our rope drop strategies, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, there's lots of great options, but no good option, right?
Right.
Okay. Okay. So now that we bought it, what do I do with it? When can I make the first passes? We said 7 days in advance, right? And you make 3?
Yes.
Okay. So I make the 3 7 days in advance. I'm all ready. I'm going to the park with my park reservation if I need one. I use my first one. Now what?
So now you wanna make another one. So every time you use
Ooh.
one, you wanna make another one.
So use one, make one.
Yes.
So previously with Genie Plus, you had to see what time you were eligible to make a new one. It was usually like 2 hours after this, or like when the sun hit a certain point and the shadow of the castle was directly down Main Street, which doesn't happen. But then you can make your next one. Now it's simple. No more setting a timer or an alarm. It's use one, make one. Tap in, get on the app, right?
Yes.
All right. So can I cancel them as the day goes on and move my times around? Because I'm booking time windows, right?
Right. Yeah, so you're booking them and it gives you about an hour window. When you were there at Christmas, they were still doing 5 minutes early, 15 minutes late. Did you guys
Yes.
test that out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we went in 5 minutes early all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a good thing to know. You can ding in 5 minutes early without it causing any problems and up to 15 minutes late without having to talk to a
Yes.
cast member.
So really you have an hour and 20-minute window unofficially. Could change any day though, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good tip. 5 minutes early. We did that a bunch. What happens if a ride goes down?
So if a ride goes down in the app, you'll see like an automatic like a what it
It's
what are
got
they
it's got balloons. It's like
Yeah, like
multi-experience.
experience. Yeah, and so you can it's kind of becomes an anytime lightning lane with limits. You can't go use it for like one of the single pass rides or something like that. It will say what your parameters are
Mhm.
when you read it.
And I think it also depends on what attraction you had that goes
Yes.
down. So make sure you look to see what is eligible for your multi-experience because we've been bit on that where we went to use it somewhere and they're like, "Oh, silly goose, you can't use that here."
Right. Yeah, like if
Yeah.
you're a Nemo, they're probably not going to let you use it for Remy.
All right. How does this multi-pass work with park hopping?
So you have to book your first 3 when you do it in advance, all in the same park. Once you
Okay.
get there and you redeem one, then you can, if you are going to park up, you can start making it for the other park. Just beware of what time you're making it for and know that you're actually going to be at that park.
All right. All right. So that's a good thing. So once you make your fourth one, it can be in any park. But
Yes.
watch the time because sometimes you go to make that fourth one and like the attraction you're looking at isn't late enough. So you got to be careful with that.
Yeah.
So can they overlap?
Did they let you at Christmas?
Yes.
They did. Okay, because
Yes.
FastPass used to not let you, and then Genie Plus let you.
Yep. We can still overlap. So that's good to know. All right. So let's talk about the big ticket item, that Premier Pass. Why on earth would anybody want to get that one? And what are the rules here?
It just gives you a huge amount of flexibility, and basically you can get on any ride and every ride that has a lightning lane, which is most of them. It's a new thing this year. At first, it used to just be for deluxe resort guests. Then for a while, it was for all Disney resort guests, and then just today they said
Yeah.
anybody can.
They knew we were recording and they wanted to make sure we got this on here.
I think so. I mean, yeah, I texted you as soon as I saw that because I was like, good thing this was not tomorrow.
Right.
Yes. So now anyone can buy it. The on-site guests still have the 7-day advantage. The off-site guests are still doing it on day 3. So you still have an advantage there.
Right. It could sell out if you're going at a busy time of year. Right.
Right.
That's the concern.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it just simplifies. You don't have to worry about what tier you're doing. You don't have to worry about the multi-pass versus a single pass. It takes care of the whole problem. You just show up. You can only go on each ride once, but you can go whenever you want to go. It just really eases your day and makes it simple.
Yeah. You don't have to keep opening your app to make that next lightning lane. That's the huge thing. And you don't have to worry about time windows.
Yeah. Yeah. You just go up to that attraction when you feel like you want to do that.
Yeah. That's pretty spectacular. But what are the exact costs right now as of today?
All right. I'll ease you in again.
Okay.
Animal Kingdom. This is $129 to $199 with plus tax. So they're not including tax in there. So it gets up to about $200. Epcot, you're looking at $169 to $249 plus tax. Studios, you're looking at $269 to $349 plus tax. And Magic Kingdom, the big one, $329 to $449 plus tax.
Enough to make an ulcer flare up.
Yes, and it was $449 pretty much all of winter break. Yeah.
And that sold out.
And it sold out. Yep.
7 days in advance. So, all right. Let's talk some tips now. Enough about Premier Pass because because we don't need it. If you want it, awesome, do it. If you can afford that, it is the way to go. If you are not going to the park very often and you can afford that comfortably,
by all means, do it.
By all means.
Yeah.
And honestly, I know you can't park hop with it, but like if you get done at a park, why not park hop and just have you don't have to stay in a park because of it. It's just you don't have the Premier Pass later. But once you do every attraction that has lightning lanes, the Premier Pass is done, right?
Yes, and I would say Magic Kingdom, people using it there have said that they are kind of exhausted by the end of the day because it's a lot of rides.
We've had prior to this era, right? We've traveled where we've had someone bless us with a little pass that helped go on things. It's hard to do that many things all at once, isn't it?
I could see where that would be really a lot of fun, but exhausting. So just kind of pace yourself and don't think you can, walk into that park at like 2 or 3 p.m. and get it all done.
I honestly think Hollywood Studios and Epcot would be fantastic places to use it because it's a little bit cheaper and you actually can use it everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you can get that done. So, okay. Enough about Premier Pass. Let's talk some tips. What time are you like shooting for to book your lightning lanes? Because there's, variations on that sort of stuff. Like, what are your thoughts?
Times. I typically book all 3 in the morning. So like maybe 9, 10, 11. That way, as soon as you get to the park, you can kind of use, I would not rope drop whatever you got, but you want to use it early enough so that you can get your 4th attraction and have more to pick from.
So actually what we did, because you can only get one tier 1 attraction. So
yeah,
we would book something fairly simple, not necessarily something we wanted to do right away, but something right at park opening. So we booked like a 9 a.m. and then the other ones we booked at like 11 noon, a little bit later, like 10:30, right? But we did book one right at 9 a.m. We would tap in, hop on the app, and we were able to snag another tier 1 or top tier, top
Ooh.
shelf attraction, even though it hurt my soul to use a lightning lane at rope drop. Now, the good thing here is it's not regular rope drop. It is regular park opening rope drop. It's not the early entry rope drop, right? So we've already been in the park for a half hour because there are no
Got
lightning
it.
lanes for that first half hour. So we did something that we knew would already have a line, and we booked it right then and there. So like Tomorrowland Speedway, if you're rolling up there at 9 a.m., there's a line, and that lightning lane still has some value, so you're not totally burning it. But we tapped in and we snagged not Jungle Cruise, but I think we snagged Space, right? So there's still some availability. Granted, it's way later in the day, right? Because
And
you've
what
had
did you rope drop for early entry? Do you remember?
Space is
Oh, you're
yeah.
going for Space Part 2.
I don't charge,
I got
but
it.
that happened at Hollywood Studios as well, where you're already in the park. So we had a Toy Story Mania for 9 a.m. We're able to be there, tap in, boom. We then got Rock and Roller Coaster for later in the day.
Like, how much later in the day is it? I'm just curious. I have not tried the
One
strategy.
one day was pre-nap, another day was post-nap.
Okay.
So, but I mean, we were also there over Christmas
When it was
break.
bananas, right. So
So,
that's impressive you could get, like, the higher
and
tier.
I heard during the lower, because Multipass is still people figuring out, right? And so slower times of the crowd, you're able to definitely get that second tier 1. Not a guarantee. But like Haunted Mansion is a good one to do as well. Make that a 9 a.m. one, or Peter Pan at 9 a.m. is a very good use.
Yeah.
That then is your tier 1, right?
Yeah.
So you got to think about stuff like that. So that is one strategy with the timing. But otherwise, 10:30 is kind of the time we like to start using them. But the
Yes.
later you wait to use them, the later you're getting your 4th and your 5th and your 6th and your 7th. So there is some advantage to intermixing them throughout the whole morning, where before, when you could just make 3 and like that was kind of it. With Fast Pass, you wanted those at peak hours, right? Noon, 1 and 2, when the crowds are the busiest. But Fast Pass, and then like, because the way the rules have changed, since you can only hold 3, there's no advantage of putting anything late,
Right.
because you can't make another one till that's gone.
Yes.
So
And so what time do you usually make, like, the single pass?
11
Well,
or
that's
10,
what we do too. Yeah,
11.
late morning when everything's
Yeah.
busy.
We try to either do that right before lunch, because we try to eat lunch no later than 11:30, because one line that's very underestimated at the parks is lunch.
Mhm.
If you go at noon, you might as well go get in a standby line for one of the most popular attractions. Eating right at 11, with Christmas break hours, we ate at 10:30 several times. But when you're there at 7 a.m., you're hungry
Yeah,
by
you're gonna be hungry.
10:30. So
Right.
yeah, it's complicated, isn't it?
It is. But yeah, I think that was something once we started doing that, because as the crowds roll in at 10:30 or 11, we'd have all these things in our pocket to use,
Right.
which was
Yep.
nice.
Absolutely. It's great strategy. But if you're thinking only about ahead, right? Burning them earlier makes sense. But you can also overlap them, so you can stack them still. So that's a nice little thing. And we don't have to set alarms anymore.
Nope. That
So
is nice.
yeah. How do you like to combine your rope drop with your lightning lanes, Lauren?
So, like, for basically whatever I didn't get in the higher tier is what I'm rope dropping. So, like, if we got Tiana's for the multi-pass, I'm gonna go rope drop Space Mountain.
Yeah. And same thing with Tron and that sort of stuff
Oh, yeah.
too. Like,
Usually we're buying those individual, not all the
yeah,
time, but a lot of the times we are buying those.
that's one of my favorite things about buying Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. I hate that rope drop because there's so many strollers, and strollers just anger me because I'm a grumpy old man.
Yeah.
I don't know when I became a grumpy old man, but I'm pretty sure it was when I was 25.
I was gonna say, were you born that way?
No, I think it was once I was pushing a stroller. So maybe first Disney trip with a stroller, so 28?
So you were not a grumpy old man when you were a teenager.
No. No. I was a dumb teenager. That's what I was. I don't think there's any exception to that rule. All teenagers are dumb. Sorry, guys. It's a fun fact.
Oh, I have
Yeah.
teens. I like them.
But they're still dumb. They just do some of the dumbest stuff. I love my kids, but oh my gosh, some of the dumbest things.
All right, moving on.
Yeah, moving on. For those virtual queues at 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. drops, they have various drops throughout the day. You can use more than one device. Did you know that, Lauren?
I did. So this is something Disney doesn't want you to be all logged in underneath the same account, so they will tell you that. Um, my teen, speaking of teens, my teen is on under my account helping me book all this stuff, or he was when we had Genie Plus. You need to book everything at 7. But no, you
Right.
can use the same account on multiple devices at the same time to book different things. For I guess
Yeah.
for virtual queues at this point, but if you're doing like the 7 days prior or whatever, then too.
Yeah. You can get on there. We use Michelle's account exclusively. I'm just a subsidiary. So I log into her account when we travel. Because if I log into mine, I'm just making me things, which no one cares about
So
that.
your kids and your wife are not on your friends and family list.
Nope. I'm on theirs. They're not on mine.
I don't know what that means.
I think it says a lot about a trust level between the family and me. Like, the kids will log in. They're all logged into Michelle's account. So it's just me. And I'll go back and forth between my account and her account. And yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway, everyone can be doing it.
Yep.
And then screenshot everything.
Even though Disney loves to lie and tell you can't, but that's a whole nother thing.
And that's just their preference. But yeah.
All right, so screenshot everything. So what if you're ready to go use your Lightning Lane and they claim you don't have one? Where do you go, Lauren?
The blue tents, they're around the parks. They are guest services. They will help you find it. If you have a screenshot, that really helps.
It
But there's
does.
been times where, like, I don't know, like, we never got to use an individual Lightning Lane. I can't see. I went back to the old terminology. A single one. And they can change it to another day for me or just refund me or whatever that looks like that we want help with.
Yeah, we had a Rise of the Resistance, which if you're getting Rise of the Resistance for a family of 5, you spent a pretty penny. And the ride was down, it stayed down, it stayed down, it stayed down. And so they changed it to 3 days later for us when we were going to be back at Hollywood Studios one night.
Yep, they can do that. Yeah, because I think
So,
it automatically refunds you if it's been down, like, since you were supposed to go on it. I have gotten automatic refunds
yep.
before I even got there, but double check before you leave the park so you can talk to someone and make sure you get your money back
Yeah,
if
it's
the ride was down.
always good to talk to somebody. I think that is a definite must for sure.
Yeah.
So, any other last tidbits about Genie, Multipass, Lightning Lanes, single Lightning Lanes,
All the things.
virtual queue, or Premier Pass, Lauren, before we say adios to this topic?
Not that I can think of. The only thing I wanted to, and we talked about this last week, is this is why we do not rope drop Animal Kingdom. Because if you're gonna buy all the things, just sleep in that morning. Unless you're gonna, I know you guys go a little early because you're gonna park hop, but if you're
Yeah.
really just doing
No,
that day,
we're going to nap
sleep.
hop. We're
Or
going to
that too.
nap. Like, I mean, we took like 4 and 5 hour naps on that last trip, Lauren.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sleep at that point, I think, technically. I don't know.
The other thing, just to touch on the other 2 parks real quick. Slinky Dog is like the hardest one to get.
Mm-hmm.
So grab that if you see that. And then I think Remy's is a harder get than Frozen right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think when Test Track comes back open, that one will be a challenge because it will be way new. Like, it's not just they're spray painting some stuff. They gutted, redid things. So I think the track will be the same. The vehicles will be the same, but everything else is going to be different in Test Track. And I think that will push demand significantly.
Yeah. Everyone's going to want to go on that when that reopens for sure.
Kind of like Tiana's is tough to get.
right
But
now.
but
It all
there's
changes.
right now actually Tiana's isn't the hardest because it's cold out. And you get wet. But in the summer, Tiana's will be harder than it
Yeah.
is right now. So don't like judge everything off January data, right? Magic Kingdom has enough options that really helps.
It is, it is. I feel like you get the most use out of the Lightning Lanes there, just because there's always something to grab.
And getting a second tier 1 attraction, or maybe it's tier Mickey. Is Mickey
It's
tier?
not
I don't
sticking.
know.
We'll work on that.
No. Okay. The Dole Whip tier? No.
No, no more
Okay. Well,
stacks.
all right, all right. We're gonna figure it out. We'll figure it out, folks. But I think that's it.
Yep,
I think we did it. It's a
nailed it.
necessary evil. I think that's the way to summarize Multipass. It's a necessary evil. It ensures you're gonna get a lot more accomplished on your vacation, and
And it's
it's
just, what is your time worth to you, right? Like, I want time to go back and relax at the resort. I know you guys don't like to pool. We like to pool. It's a more relaxing day. Everyone's happier for it.
well, it's
So,
really dangerous to nap in a pool. So that's why.
well, fair point. But
Yeah.
still, that's why we end up doing it. Just, it's a more relaxing vacation.
Yeah, so there you go. That is Multipass Lightning Lanes edition of Rope Drop Radio. And if you want to experience the fun that is the muddled mud of operating lightning passes, multi passes on the Lightning Lanes
Oh, man.
and on the My Disney Experience app, which is actually not named that in the App Store. It's just Disney World. But, we call it the MDX, even though there's no X involved, just to complicate Disney. We're going to need to do a Disney dictionary show, aren't we? Anywho, if you want to go experience all this fun we just discussed, you need to connect with our friends at Touring and Cruises, and they can help you book a magical vacation with a no obligation quote. Head over to touringandcruises.com and tell them Rope Drop Radio sent you. But now, Lauren, we need to get on to the after show where I'm sure we can tell some great Lightning Lane multi-pass, fast pass stories, huh?
Yes, or whatever else we feel like talking about. You
Whatever.
never know what we're going to talk about. We don't
It,
know what we're going to talk about.
it's just us decompressing after the show. That's what it
Yes.
really is, the true insight. So follow us on social media. We are Rope Drop Radio on all of the things, and we will see you over on the after show. So for Lauren, I'm Doug. This has been another Rope Drop Radio.